What's up, guys? This is Kalo, and normally I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming, but welcome back to another episode of Community Kitchen, where we're cooking up the latest and greatest gaming news headlines, and who better to join me today than Aiden? Why don't you say what's up?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Game Sandwich, where just like Nintendo, we get worse with age.
Hey, who knows? But before we get into today's video, we'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you guys that subscribe here to Game Sandwich. Drop a like on the video. And if you want, join our community Discord. Links to that is in the video description down below. Now, you and I were conversating over this past weekend, and you had a topic for a video that I thought was pretty interesting because it comes at a crossroads for me and a company I hold near and dear to my heart, Nintendo. Aiden, what's going on here?
Okay, so as Kevin pointed out, like we were having a conversation, and I just kind of like had this realization the other day, especially after I went back. My wife and I, we okay, so some context here. My wife and I, we recently we started like filling out like our like common room in our house. Like we were just like, oh yeah, we have this blank room and we have this old house, and we were like, okay, well, you know what? Let's like put our game consoles in here, like all the old ones, because we have like a bunch of them collected, and we are like, let's hook those all up. Let's see what games we still have, and let's try them out. Let's play them and everything. And it made me think back to when I decided to just pick up my copy of like Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Like I still have those and Emerald, and I was like, I'm going to just try and play them and see how I feel about them. Started up, and I immediately was like taken back to like being a child and everything. And I was like, you know what, this nostalgia was real here. I won't deny that. But it was also, man, I feel like this is fun. Like this is great. Like this is enjoyable. Like I like playing through this. And so like I can't remember when it was. It was like maybe 4 or 5 months ago or something, I think. But it was just when the Switch 2 would come out. So there you go. That's when the time was. But I got the Switch 2. I downloaded Pokemon Pokemon blah whatever one they're on,
Scarlet and
Violet
Violet?
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I downloaded Violet cuz that's the one I have. And I tried playing it again. I deleted my save data. Was like, I'm gonna replay this. I want to just delete my save data, get it over with. Let's go right from the beginning. And then I noticed that as soon as I started, I was like, what am I doing? Like this just does not feel good. And I tried, like I pushed through, like I was playing it for a little while, and I was like, I don't like this. And then I went back to Sword and Shield and tried it with Sword and Shield. And again, felt that same feeling of like, I just don't like this. Like, why?
Hmm.
And like before anyone thinks, oh, it's because I'm old or anything like that. Like, yeah, I grew up with the older Pokemon games. I played them when I was a kid. But then I noticed like there is a shift suddenly where in the Pokemon series, all of a sudden it just doesn't feel good anymore.
Hmm.
And it happens right around Sun and Moon.
Yes.
And like I noticed it with like all the Nintendo games almost. And it's not that it's like oh, they're not fun to play. I'm not saying that Nintendo games aren't fun. But like then Kevin mentioned it with like Donkey Kong. And I mentioned it with like Super Mario oh, not Sunshine, blah. Odyssey.
Odyssey? Yeah.
Where it's like I played through Odyssey when I got it. Loved Odyssey. Thought it was amazing. But now when I think about going back to play it again, I'm like I don't care.
Hmm.
And it doesn't it just like all of a sudden like all joy of wanting to ever replay a game from them is like just gone. And it's not like that with any other company.
Hmm.
And so there you go. There's the topic of the video of like why do Nintendo games just like do not feel fun to play again anymore?
Okay. Um, I'll speak from my perspective and then kind of like try to connect it to your through line here. Because we grew up around the same games, like experiencing like Ruby Sapphire. I think personally, in my humble opinion, that is my favorite generation. That is the one where I've had the most memories. I mean, I talk about how Mudkip is my favorite starter. I love Pokemon Emerald, still
Love
have my
Mudkip.
copies. Like that is our bread and butter we grew up on, and I feel like that is the root of the problem versus where we are now, because one for one, like, as I started getting older, as I started playing more games and realizing there's a lot more out there other than like Mario 3D platformers. There's more than Pokemon, like turn-based RPGs, like that stuff, like the Nintendo versions of that. I know there's plenty of others outside that realm, but it comes with age. I also feel like with us specifically, we're in the business where it's like, all right, Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out. It's more or less not us. Like, I've beaten that game top to bottom. I've enjoyed it, and I've also said to you, it's a game that, all right, I beat once, and like in the next few months, I don't see myself popping that game into my Switch 2 to play again, because I'm just all over the place with other games and there's other things coming out. But back in the day, like if we were like, let's just say 11, 12, or whatever ripe age for Nintendo games are, we would have a lot more time to really let that thing breathe and like enjoy it and play it and connect with it. Nowadays we're like, all right, we gotta beat it, like on to the next thing. Or the conversation we've had about like other games coming in a certain space, like a Concord, and I can't believe that's the one I pick out of my brain. But like other games struggle to survive in a space that's already occupied. For us, I feel like we've been in gaming long enough where we have our things that we like, and it's like it's going to be tough for another game to come in there and take that space, take up that time. For you, I know you're a Souls guy. I know Borderlands 3 is out right now. I'm sure...
Yeah.
Or 4.
You mean Borderlands 4?
4. My bad. The poster is right behind me. There's obviously a pecking order with games for you, and there's a pecking order for games for me. And it's like, I don't... Like, there's no Nintendo game out right now that I'm like, I have to play this right now. This is my thing. And even to Donkey Kong Bonanza, with its DLC coming out, I'm not a fan of roguelikes, and that is what that DLC is. So I'm not going to be inclined to get it, and it has to do with the DK Isle, Donkey Kong 64, one of my favorite games of all time. And you'd think it'd be a slam dunk for me to go out and get that DLC because of DK Isle and because how that game ended. For me, no. Like, I just... You have to be a fan of roguelikes for that DLC. I'm not going to get it, and I've had my fill of Bonanza for now.
Yeah, and like to go into the Pokemon specifically, and now like you know what? Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you want to like chat with us about this, like go into this topic further, join our Discord. You know, happy to go into this further and everything, or you know, catch our streams so you can chat with us about it on the streams. But anyway, like, so like I pulled up a list of all of the different Pokemon gimmicks here, and I think there's like a solid case for at least with Pokemon in it that's like, oh okay, like maybe you could write it off with the other Nintendo games. It's like, oh, there's such a flooded market that, oh, it feels like a waste to go back to their games because it's just like, oh, there's another game on the horizon, whatever, you know. But at least with Pokemon, okay, like I feel like there was like this major shift, and it comes from like, and I want to say it comes from the gimmicks, like I really do, and it's because like, so Pokemon Silver and Gold, you have that the gimmick was Pokemon hold items. Okay, that feels like a progression of normal Pokemon. Okay. So Pokemon are holding items, whatever. Then you have Ruby and Sapphire, double battles. Feels like a progression, a natural progression of the series. Then, like, Diamond and Pearl, okay, you have online play, whatever. Big deal. Online play is just like, you know, it happens. And then Black and White, you finally have triple battles and rotational battles. Again, it's a different type of battle. It feels natural to Pokemon. There you go. Then, suddenly, for Pokemon X and Y, you have Mega Evolutions. And I know there are people who swear by Mega Evolutions. I personally am not like the biggest fan of them, but I can see at least see it as like a good step forward for Pokemon in the sense of like, oh, okay, you're taking this creature and you're enhancing them even further. Cool. That's that's still not a bad idea, and I still really enjoyed Pokemon X and Y. But then all of a sudden you have Sun and Moon where you have like Z moves.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't know what it is about Z moves, but like Z moves just felt like a crash and burn kind of thing for me where it was like, okay, I don't care about using them. I don't really understand them all that great, except for like you get a Z ring and okay, whatever. And then after that, you have Sword and Shield with like Dynamaxing, which that just felt weird and pointless. Like I beat that game with using Dynamaxing to its like very limited amount. Like because I
Yeah.
just did not care about it. And then you have Scarlet and Violet with Terastallization.
Yeah.
And the gimmick for that one could have just been, oh, you have Pokemon from the past and Pokemon from the future.
Yeah.
That could have just been the gimmick. But it was like double stacked gimmicks where it was like, okay, or like triple stacked, really, because you have like, oh, now it's open world. That could have just been the gimmick. Terrestrialization, that could have been the gimmick alone. Or you have uh whatever I already said.
Trust.
The past and future Pokemon. That could have been the gimmick. There you go. But it's like you triple stacked these gimmicks and everything, and it just feels like you're going back into it, and it just feels like what happened
Oh.
here? It feels like someone took the wheel of Pokemon and it was like heading towards like a small ledge, and then someone like careened it towards a massive cliff. Like,
Well, that right there, you laid out what exactly happened. Every jump from like silver and gold, diamond and pearl, ruby sapphire, black and white, each of those progressions, where if like you ask 1,000 Pokemon fans, what would you like added to the next game? They say, well, it'd be nice for my Pokemon to have items. Well, it'd be nice to have double battles. That seems like a fun thing. Well, it'd be nice to have mega evolutions to kind of like up the pageantry of the battle, kind of like introduce new spins on classic beloved Pokemon. And for the most part, they nail those megas outside of a few they've recently done. Uh, but that's the thing, where it's like Pokemon took those fan requests and went with them for a certain amount of generations. Then they said, you know what? No. We need, like, megas, like, after megas, that's jumping the shark, where it's like, what do we do now? Like, we made Charizard the best version it could possibly be. We made Mewtwo, like, insane with X and Y version. It's the Z moves, terrestrialization, that stuff, where it's like, that is not what the fans asked for. And the clear example of this, where it went south, was whenever Pokemon Legends Arceus came out. Everyone and their mother was like, oh my gosh, this is the next logical step in how Pokemon should evolve and what it should
yeah,
be. And
run
then
around, see Pokemon in the wild, and be able to just catch them. There you go.
exactly. And that is the most recent fan request that people have been asking for. And they go on to release Sword and Shield, which had the wild area, and that was like kind of a 2.0 of what Legends Arceus did. And then you can kind of say, okay, like that version was all right. Like fans were about it. Then it's like, oh, you're doing all this unnecessary things whenever if you just expand on that open world RPG, you can see the Pokemon in the grass and like do whatever. Straying away from that is the problem, where it's like you didn't listen to the fans. You're just implementing these things like Z moves, like terrestrialization. It just feels like you're checking a box at that point, where it's like, oh, we gotta come up with something quick. They can grow crystals out of their head, and like it really essentially doesn't mean anything. Like for you, like I was playing through Violet, and I used terrestrialization, like I can count maybe 10 times, and that was
Yeah.
only in battles where I'm like, all right, I gotta get this done. Let me just do this, get really powerful, knock out the team, and move on. That shouldn't be for like a Pokemon game. Like I am all for the pageantry of the battle, And it's like fans are asking
Yeah.
like, "Hey, can I control a Pokemon mid-battle?" Are they doing that in Legends ZA? It kind of looks like something there. Like again, I want to get hands-on with that game to kind of see what that's about. But like there's an example of them doing something that fans kind of asked for. So I feel like that's where Pokemon kind of went off the rails, and it just taints the name even further.
And like I look into it like with other games too. It's like, well, also for Pokemon, I'm just throwing it out there. One thing that I did love about Sword and Shield is I did love the pageantry of the battles, and I loved that they were in big stadiums. Like I actually
Yeah,
really loved that,
it
and I thought
felt
that that was
cool.
unique. Like I thought that was unique to that area, and I was like, why bother with Dynamaxing? Why not just make battles like legitimately like a pageantry thing? Like that would be cool
It's what you base your
here.
game on.
But like
Like that should be a big deal.
yeah, but anyway, but then like I look into it with other games. Like I'm looking at like Zelda now, for instance.
Hmm.
And okay, people can hate me in the comments all you want. Feel free. I don't care. I've made my stance with like Legend of Zelda and everything. When it comes to Breath of the Wild, I feel like that was a huge like step back for the series. Also, like Tears of the Kingdom, I think that one was a big step back. Like I don't think that they are personally, I don't think that Legend of Zelda is meant to be open world. Like I feel like that's where it went back, where it stepped back was like it became open world and it was like okay, now you have this gimmick of like oh it's open world and like oh now you have the Sheikah Slate and blah 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 and it's like I liked the abilities that the Sheikah Slate gave you and I thought they were cool. It just went downhill because they introduced the open world and they introduced like weapon durability and they did this and that and everything and I was like, you know, that's such like a steer away from the normal series that it's like I don't like I feel like it should have been its own thing. It should have just been like, oh, now we're making a new now we're making a new RPG series or whatever that is similar to Legend of Zelda, but we want to make this one an open world one.
Or like
And
what they
Zelda will
did with
still make, but
Pokemon.
it's going to be linear. And so like there's that, but then there's also like the modern gimmick of it that feels like it's not as thought through. Like Echoes of Wisdom, for instance. I thought that one was actually very unique, and I liked the idea of the of the gimmick for it with like oh being able to spawn echoes of things and all that. But it also felt so trivial, and it felt like it felt out of place at the same time because it was like Zelda is she is seen in other things being a warrior, and then it's like
Yeah.
suddenly all of a sudden you have her like, oh, I can't defend myself. I don't know how to do anything but spawn little items to defend me for me, and it's like, okay, well that's the gimmick's cool, but like I just don't like it in the sense of it's in a Zelda game, and then like you know, with Donkey Kong, even like you have like, oh, now it's open world. The whole environment is destructible. Yeah, but it's like at a certain point that just becomes tiresome, and it's like these gimmicks they sound great on paper, but then all of a sudden it's like implemented. It's just like Nintendo drops the ball.
Well, this is the thing with Zelda, and then I'll talk about Donkey Kong. Zelda's at that moment in Pokemon where they were staring down, like, we did Megas, that was our big deal. Zelda, I feel it is the open world, like, that was a big deal. They did, like, the 2.0 version with Tears of the Kingdom. A clear, just like, hey, let's get this game out. It has the mechanics, let's improve on it a little bit. And people thought it was cool. Now I'm looking at what the next big Zelda game would be. And, like, I question. I assume it's going to be an open world. I assume it's going to be something massive and expansive. But, like, what do you do post, like, you're able to build anything? You're able to do... It's like, that
You
is...
jump the shark, now where do you go?
Exactly. And it's like, do I see them going back to a linear, like, Twilight Princess, like, that type deal? I absolutely don't. Like, that is just... For me, it's like, you don't do that. Like, logically, you'd be like, okay, it's open world is just a part of the Legend of Zelda now. That is their thing. And it's like, okay, but like, what do you do? And to speak on Donkey Kong for like a quick second, I agree where it's like, after a while, smashing through the mountains and this and that, it got to be a little like, okay, like great, like I'm this whole game I'm just spamming B, but then there came like the nice little palate cleansers of the minecart missions or the Bonanza stuff. It is that where it's like that game knew when to stop, because being an open world game, you clearly can go for ages, and this one kind of knew like, hey, here's a boss battle, here's this, I'll string you along. Like, it's gonna get tiresome towards the end, especially if you're like me and just play that game through and through, like, day after day till you beat it. So it's like, yeah, but Donkey Kong kind of knew when to stop. But Zelda, very interested to see what they do next to kind of, like, switch things up, no pun intended. But, yeah, like, we jumped the shark there. What's next?
Yeah, I mean, like, was in the instance of Zelda, like, the reasons why I don't like Breath of the Wild for like are so okay. Weapon durability, I honestly I thought it was kind of dumb.
Yeah, I
It
don't
does,
like
like
that.
it's never had a place in a Zelda game, and I don't think that it should have a place in it now. And the non-linear fashion of it, where like Zelda's always been like semi-open world,
Yeah,
where it's been like, oh, okay, yeah, you can go to this place, but then you can always go back to where you were, and you can always go back to explore and everything. Like you don't have to like only progress forward, but you know the way to progress forward. You
yeah,
know, like in Twilight, like Twilight Princess is my personal favorite. And it's like at any time I can go back to Hyrule Field and just roam around. It's not like it's not open world in that aspect, but like I think that Zelda works best in a semi-open world like
open
fashion
zone.
where it's like motion, yeah, like open zone like fashion where you know where to go next, you know that it's here, and then like this area unlocks new stuff where you get like new like cutscenes and everything, you get new NPCs. But like in Breath of the Wild, it was very much like a oh, okay. Well, now I can just now I have the option to do whatever I want. And it's the same deal with Pokemon. Like I don't like really love Pokemon as being like open world like Scarlet and Violet where it's like oh choose your objectives because like they didn't really do it open world. It felt more open world in previous games than it did in Scarlet and Violet. Which
Yeah,
like let's be serious here. Like in the old ones you could literally just like go explore the map and go do whatever. You were just bound by your level. You
yeah,
know like and Scarlet Violet, it's like, oh, okay, well, you can't really do this until you do this. So, like, you have to do this first to do this.
yeah,
And it's like, okay, then why'd you say this is an open world? But when it's like really not. But anyway, like at least for like, so I feel like these games like they work best like in a like semi-open world
yeah,
and like open zone area, if you will, and like more of a linear fashion. And I think that's kind of like where it's like I said, like oh, like the jumping of the shark here for the Zelda series, because they went, oh, okay, we're gonna take the series that's entirely been linear or like semi-open world, and then all of a sudden just make it open world and allow you to do whatever you want, and yada yada yada. And in doing so, now we've opened up endless possibilities, and nobody can ever guess where we're gonna go from here, or like we have to stick to this formula now because if we go back, people will be disappointed.
yeah. No,
And
100%.
like guaranteed, if they go, oh, okay, well now we've done Tears of the Kingdom, where you have access to like Skylands and like the ground, and you have access to an underground area. If they go back to like something that's like Ocarina of Time,
Yeah,
everyone will be like, what the hell's wrong with you, Nintendo? Why are you doing this?
mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden be angry.
Yeah, to be clear though,
And
if they drop an Ocarina of Time remake, everyone will be happy. He's saying,
yeah,
like, if they went that
if they
style,
make a new game
yeah, yeah,
again, where it's like, okay, brand new game, and now all of a sudden it's in the style of old Legend of Zelda, people are gonna be like, what?
yeah, no,
Now, like, there's the exception with her Echoes of Wisdom because it was a new, like, it was like
a sub
a
thing.
sub thing that was like more handheld style that people have come to expect the handheld style stuff to be a certain way.
Mhm.
I'm talking about console style
Yeah.
where it is like Twilight Princess or like Wind Waker or whatever, you know. I'm talking more like that. If they go back to making it that style, it's all suddenly going to be like, oh, well, you already made open world. Why aren't you just continuing to do that? Now we're going to be angry and everything. And but like in doing that open world now, it's just like you've hit that moment of, oh, okay, well, Zelda's so big now, I never want to go back to it. I never want to replay it. Like
Yeah.
I never want to replay Breath of the Wild. I beat that game and I'm like, okay, whatever. I never want to go back to it because it was long, it was annoying.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a chore.
Tears
It's
of
a
the
chore to
Kingdom.
beat.
Tears of the Kingdom felt like even more of a chore. It felt less like, oh man, I'm exploring and finding new areas, and more so like, oh great, now I have to go through this place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now I have to go do this. Yay. Now I have to run across the map to go complete this objective. And that's like, I just don't think that that fits with the Zelda series, you know? And so I feel like they should just go back to the way it came, like, back to where it came from. And like I said, they should have just made Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild its own standalone. Hey, this is a new type of RPG that we're making that's new to us, new series in general, and then they can make that series and just continue it and just be like, yep, there we go.
It's going to be interesting to see, especially moving forward with the Switch 2, what that console could do, and just where they stand with that. And also, too, let's not forget the next 3D Mario. Like, what is that going to be? Like, Odyssey, you knew what that was. You've played Donkey Kong Bonanza, that's by the same team. Are we staring at something similar in size and scope and build and all that? You never know. Shoot, we can get a Breath of the Wild Mario game, and I don't know what that would be, but it could be a thing. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo used to be so full of, magic when it came to, like, small scale stuff. And, like, I feel like all of their stuff doesn't work on, like, a grand scale.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, Pokemon, you take this simplistic little monster catching game, and then you blow it up to a massive proportion. All of a sudden, it loses its charm.
Well,
And then it's like Zelda. Oh, going through these smaller areas where it's like, oh man, they feel so intentional and so in depth. And then suddenly you blow it up, and every area just feels like the last area you went to.
yeah.
And now it's lost its charm. And I feel like it's the same thing with Donkey Kong, where it's like, the magic's there, where it's like, wow, it's astounding at first, and then suddenly you're like, okay, the charm's gone.
So, I just want to be clear. Donkey Kong Bonanza, one of my most favorite games I've played in recent memory, where I actually wanted to play it through. But I think what you're getting at here is more or less a sign of the times versus where gaming was when we were playing these Nintendo games versus now, where this company, Nintendo, needs to make a game that has a lifespan above like 12 hours, where it's like you pick it up, put it down, and then you'll never see it again. By doing what they're doing with like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, you know, Scarlet and Violet, they're leaving that more open-ended world for people to go explore and come back to constantly. And, you know, for some people that works. Like, for me, like I said, I don't really think I'm going to pick up Bonanza again until I don't know when. And, like, Odyssey, haven't picked it up since I beat it the first time, and that was when the Switch launched. So it's more or less just me, like, seeing that times work and everything. So, you know, hey, what do we know? I guess it's all just subject to individual person and, like, what they want out of games, too. That is, like, the main thing to take away.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't know where Nintendo goes from here. But all I know is just, like, how I feel about their games. And, like, with the feeling of it, it's like they seem to have lost this magic. And they recaptured it in some games. Like, Mario Odyssey was great. But then it's just like oh, you beat it. And then it's like, oh, okay, I don't really want to anymore.
Yep.
And, yeah.
That's how it goes. But this is where we're going to pass it off to you guys. What do you think about Nintendo games in the current state? Let us know in the comments down below. But as of right now, for this episode of Community Kitchen, we hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a like on this video. Subscribe to Game Sandwich for more content just like this. But as of right now, I've been Kalo, joined by Aiden, and we'll see you guys next time.
And we're never going to get old.
If you enjoyed today's video and want more content just like this, consider subscribing to Game Sandwich for all your news, rumors, and reviews. And we'll see you guys next time.